Okay, so here we are back in the letter. And I'm going to break one of the rules I tried to lay down. So normally I try not to show you guys the branching paths until we actually reach our destination. It's got to change here. So we're going to skip straight to the end because if you saw the fourth video, which was the conclusion of Chapter 2, that's when I got Ending 1. Now, Ending 1 is completely contingent on one decision. Should you choose to open the hatch, she gets possessed, and that's that. So, what about the other endings, you ask? Well, you do have to go down this bottom route, like I did here, where you call out, the butler will pull you away, you don't get possessed, yada yada yada. And then there are different things that happen here and there. But the main thing is, in order to get these last two endings, this is contingent upon, first of all, leaving the trapdoor alone, and secondly, your relationship with Luke. So right here, this is the same file for the most part that I did for the first part. Well, Ending 1, that is. And the problem is, in order to get Ending 2, you have to have a really rocky relationship with him. And the thing is, even if you make every decision here against him, it's not enough. So, I had to go back and I replayed Chapter 1, so you'll notice right here, I showed the letter to Rose and I started doing everything I could on Izzy's route to try to sabotage their relationship. There may be something up here, this should be the movie theater. But for the most part, with everything I did, I couldn't get it any lower. Man, that's a lot of decisions. What was this one? Okay, I don't know what determines this one, but you can see that for a lot of these things, they are extremely poorly explained, and so far that would be my biggest criticism against the game. So, despite my best efforts, I couldn't get Luke's affection low enough. There's gotta be something somewhere that I overlooked. And unfortunately, it's not as simple as always choosing the bottom option either, so yeah. Anyway, that brings us here for the third ending. I will have the ending itself as another video, but I'm probably going to call this something like Part 4B, something along those lines. And in order to maximize the scenes, I will try to stick to the top choices since those lead to different, well, leads to a branching path here, but in the grand scheme of things, you can see it doesn't matter other than affecting relationships. And then we have a game over here that I'm going to make sure to get, just in case there's a CG. So in order to go on the top route, we need to choose the top option. And I should mention, this takes place right after the confrontation between Shelley and Luke. So this is Lee pulling her away, Johanna's joining in, and then she doesn't really deny the possibility of an affair. I know Luke, if something can be arranged, he won't do it in an exposed place, not near his flowers. He won't promise responsibility over a child. Who am I kidding? He might cheat. He just might. Luke isn't too far off. Still acted like some young hotshot bachelor. Our Lee isn't that far off. Makes me think. Perhaps a break is needed. Maybe Marianne had a point. If I am frustrated, if I am unhappy, maybe a break is needed. Some time apart might be just what the doctor ordered. Time apart to clear our heads and to think for ourselves. Or for myself, to be exact. Because looking at this mess before me just brings me nothing but distress. I feel a bit nauseous, actually, now that I think about it. Luke's too busy making a scene to notice, and a concerned Becky pulls me to the side. She looks as disturbed as I am by the sudden turn of events. Probably not a big fan of drama. Definitely not used to it, at any rate. Not surprising, as her parents were lovely yet simple people.
Hey! I figured you could use the save. You looked like you weren't doing too hot back there. Do we need to call a doctor or something?
Oh no, I'll just be needing some fresh air, that's all. Some help getting out of here would be much appreciated.
Sure, that won't be a problem. I wanted to get away from this drama too anyway. Hey, Zachary! Hey, Zach!
At the mention of his name, I can't help but seek him out in the crowd as he makes his way over. They know each other?
Becca, this is a real oh, hey, Miss Wright.
If I'm to assign a random number to dictate the odds of having two of my acquaintances know each other, I'll say the odds are 1 out of 1,000. And if this is any other situation, I would have been suspicious. It isn't completely impossible to have two random strangers who I met on separate occasions to know each other, in what will be complete random happenstance. It's just that It's been faked before to try and dupe me because of who I am and who I'm married to. But right now, coincidence or not, I am just grateful for the help. As long as this doesn't turn out to be a kidnapping anyway.
Hello, Zachary. I told you to call me Hannah. Did I not?
Yeah, you did. So, this is what you called me for. We gonna get Hana out of here?
I can see that they're friends. Not terribly close ones, but friends nonetheless.
That'd be great.
They make quick work of getting us through the crowd. The people part because of Zachary's broad build, even if they want to approach me. If that isn't enough, Becky's pointed glares keep them at bay. We make it out of the ballroom without any untoward incident. Though, judging by the commotion in the other room, the same cannot be said about the unexpected eviction. I really do need the fresh air. I need to be away from those nosy Parkers. I need to be away from Luke. This is as good a start as any.
Hey, I gotta go back in there. Completely forgot my bag like an airhead, and I'll see if I can tag Ash on the way out. You'll be fine here, right, Hannah?
Not to worry, dearie. I'll just be right here.
Zach will be with you if you need anything.
Becky balks at the idea of having to go back into the ballroom. Anyone who hasn't yet would have realized I'm gone by now. And those busybodies will be gossiping about how I left the building with two unknowns. Along with what just transpired, stories both inaccurate and made up will spread by the night's end. It all matters very little in the grand scheme of things, of course. I won't even bother to try and quell them by returning to the fray. That leaves me with...
Zachary?
Yeah, you need something?
So real quick, in case you're wondering, I did as much as I could to sabotage this relationship. So he's going to be a little tense if the words do differ.
I was only going to say how nice it is to see you again.
Oh, okay.
I can see the tension in the line of his shoulders. Odd how awkward he is when this isn't our first meeting. We had met on professional terms, certainly, but I'd like to think I was friendly. Nonetheless, I do not push the issue about the apparent discomfort when we were left alone. Not right away, at any rate. I know my curiosity will get the better of me soon. Before I can say anything, however, he speaks up.
You okay there, Hana? I mean, of course you're not okay after what happened in there. I mean, that was terrible. But you're not gonna just fall down and faint or anything, right?
I'm fine. Thank you for your concern.
A beat.
I should be asking you the same thing. I remember you being a lot more eloquent.
Oh yeah, I'm just not too good with staying too long in a crowded room. Or handling intense drama, you know. Sorry about my clothes. Didn't think there'd be a dress code. Not that I have anything that nice to wear to a shindig like this. I dig nice, small, simple parties, so this is a real doozy for me.
And do you host your own nice, small, and simple parties often?
Only when there's occasion, birthdays and stuff. Those are a lot more fun for me, and I can be a lot more selective about letting only the people I'm cool with attend, right? I get to pick the food too. Of course, I make most of them myself. There's usually a dozen people or less, and all we really do is just hang out. Maybe do some grilling, karaoke, dancing, you know, the usual.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. You sure you're alright? You aren't exactly being eloquent yourself, as you put it. You must have something you want to get off your chest.
I don't know, Zachary. What am I supposed to say?
You can scream merde if you want. I won't snitch.
That's shit in French if you didn't know.
You want to know what I think? How I feel? I think my friend may have slept with my husband. At least, I'm pretty sure she isn't pregnant with his baby, which isn't much now, is it? My husband is a selfish, pretentious, bloody sack of shite, and you know what? I don't give a flying fuck anymore! My God!
Well, that ain't good. Not giving a crap won't make the problem go away.
I'm going to ask him for a break, Zachary. I'm not going to pretend that there isn't a problem, but I just need to step back.
Fair enough. As long as you don't just up and disappear on him, I suppose.
Foreshadowing?
Yes. Now can we please stop talking about him? Tell me more about your small, simple parties. Karaoke and dancing. How does that even go together?
Simple, really. We hope Ash doesn't take the mic, put on a bit of fun music, and just dance. Not that I can. But there ain't nothing complex about it.
You can't be that bad.
I'm pretty good with the twist. Or that's what they tell me, at least. I think they're just being nice. I'm sure it just looks awkward.
Prove it.
I've learned that men tend to exaggerate. You can't honestly be that bad, can you?
What? Do you need a demonstration?
That would be preferable, yes.
It's not like there's music here, Hannah. Come on. I can barely dance with music, and I don't want to be dancing alone. I'll just look silly.
Imagine, mon ami. You are an artiste, are you not? With your photos and films and your guitar.
Mon ami is friend, and hopefully I don't need to translate artiste for you.
You must know notes to play an instrument. Find a melody and a beat. Would it be such a stretch of the imagination? And don't fret, I will gladly be your partner.
I can tell by his expression that he's flushed, embarrassed. But no more protests escape him, and he focuses with a slight tilt of his head. Then he starts to hum a little tune. I drag him into the gardens while we go through the motions and he gains courage, the farther we are from other people. And we just dance. Though he stumbles at first, unsure and bashful.
Where did you even learn to dance, Zach? The 60s want their moves back, honestly.
The College of Two Left Feet, obviously. And I'll have you know the twist is still an awesome dance.
We're happy and we're having fun. Even as Zachary fumbles with his steps into the funniest, oddest movements that anyone can pass off as dancing. There's no need to impress anyone, however, not even each other. And this is the most I've smiled and laughed in a long time. It is simple. Simple is nice. I wish the same could be said about what I'm about to do. Simple isn't the adjective I'll use to describe the task at hand. Because really, how does one tell their husband that they want to separate? And say that, no, this is not a divorce. Not yet, at least. The possibility is there. But still, how am I even to explain that to Luke without him throwing a fit? Cutting too deeply into my sausages, I open my mouth to excuse myself. That is, until I spy Luke mashing and stirring his poached eggs with a fork like a petulant child. He has been silent all the while, chin in his hand and elbow resting on the table. I worry that my absence after the debacle may have caused more harm than good.
Luke?
It's not you. Okay, it's you. Nice achievement.
I think we need a bit of a break. You know, some time apart.
At my words, he grows still and silent. I'm not quite sure whether I should be worried or not. I take it as my cue to keep talking.
It's not permanent or anything like that. Just for a while. In a few days, perhaps. I was thinking I can move back into our penthouse in the meantime, but I won't be moving out right away, so that I can help settle everything here. And I haven't even thought of packing yet. And I'll want to ask Johans to assign some of our staff. Unless you want the penthouse anyway. Then I'll stay here instead.
No, you take the penthouse. It'll be easier for you.
It isn't supposed to be this easy, is it? Can he really react so aloof to it?
Isn't this to your liking? I imagine that you'd like the space and independence. You'll have the bed and covers to yourself, and you can have whatever you want prepared for meals. You can even have all the wine you want, though I'd rather that you don't.
This isn't about that, Hannah. Well, it's partly that, but...
The man stops playing with his food, choosing instead to push the plate aside.
What's wrong, Luke?
He slumps back in his chair and just stops short of putting his feet up on the table. I suspect he's wanting some wine or absinthe by now, but any sort of alcohol is suspiciously absent in his hands.
Aside from that disaster yesterday and you telling me you want a divorce, everything is peachy keen. Will you want me to start in the letters then? To start the divorce settlements and whatnot? Will you be seeking ways to throw me out onto the street without a penny to my name?
No, Luke, this isn't a divorce. I just told you this is only temporary. Are you really having a sulk because of what she said?
I am having a sulk because you believe her. You stormed out and now you're asking for us to split up? Soon enough, you'll want to throw me out like I'm a piece of trash.
Do you think I would be this calm if I believed her, Lucille Mitchell right? Because believe me, if I did, well, it wouldn't be pretty. Besides, I know how you feel about children. It makes her whole statement laughable.
Sure, whatever you say.
His mouth draws into a thin line, and I can't bring myself to comment on his half-hearted reply. To me, the silence that follows feels oppressive. It only emphasizes the wall that has been built up by my I actually don't know how to pronounce that word. Obeisance and his hubris. And it looms between us, keeping us apart.
When are you leaving? In a week?
It won't take that long to pack. After All Saints, perhaps?
Okay, I need to see a calendar real quick. Timeline. This is the... damn it. If you don't know, All Saints is November 1st. So I don't know what the date of this actually is at the moment. Okay, it looks like it's the 29th. So, 3 days approximately. In case you're wondering where Halloween comes from, All Hallows Eve, it's the eve of All Saints Day. So now you know.
I'll go and inform the staff of this.
He only nods. Yeah, 29th. And I'll be lying if I said that didn't disappoint me. I expected more resistance. The man could be stubborn as a mule if he wants to be. Perhaps I can leave now just to spite him. But that isn't like me. Even if this does end in a divorce, a thing we both surely wish to avoid, we can still leave on amicable terms. There's no point in making a mountain out of a molehill.
What are you still doing here? Just leave. You still have some packing to do, don't you? Go ahead. I won't stop you.
Go ahead. And do nothing. There isn't much to do, it seems, whenever I step up to the plate and try to take responsibility for something. Perhaps because everything is already being handled by someone hired specifically for that job. And with Johannes overseeing the staff and Luke handling everything else as a whole, that doesn't leave much for me. I can't even take the job of delegation because all it takes is a word to one of the senior staff and everything will be taken care of for me. Moving in here a few days ago may have very well been the chore that took the most effort from me. And that didn't take any real effort at all.
Yes, Hannah, go buy a mansion in the middle of nowhere. Good idea. Great plan.
There are no dishes to set aside and busy myself with. Any mess left behind is now nearly non-existent. To sit on a counter while eating cake is supposed to be my next plan. Alas, there isn't even one to finish off, and I don't really know what brought me to the kitchens in the first place. It's not like I'm craving anything else, nor do I have any unfinished business here. But there's a calling to this room. Speaking of calling, why not just do that? Might as well, since I have nothing else to do. At least that will require some effort on my part. With how cut off from the rest of Luxborn the mansion is, and with how long it was abandoned before we moved in, having a landline is out of the question. The solution, supposed to be, are mobiles. Though it isn't much considering how spotty the signal is in the area. It'll take a bit of maneuvering to get even a single bar as it is. It takes a bit, as I said it would. I have to park my rear on one of the cold drawers, but that suits me just fine. Another matter that needs my effort is who to call. She who must not be named is certainly off the list. That doesn't leave much in the category of close friends who attended the party, along with the category of who else is awake at this early hour. But soon enough I manage and the call goes through.
Hello, Rebecca Gales here. Who's this?
Good morning, Becky.
Hannah? Oh, wait, how did you get my number?
You responded to your RSVP through the phone. It's all saved in here, of course. I thought I'd like to say hi and make plans and get together sometime. Also, I'd love to hear news about your mother and father and about you, my dear. Oh, I hope I didn't wake you up.
Oh, you're good. It's sports day at school today, so I was just prepping for that.
Figures that you'd be a teacher as well. I'm sure your students must absolutely adore you.
Don't know about that.
Mathematics?
History, actually. Anyway, it's real nice to know you've got my number. I was going to ask for yours because Mom wanted to keep in touch.
You could have asked, silly girl. I would have gladly given it to you.
Couldn't, though, because, well, the thing that happened. But really am sorry, though. I gotta run. School, schedule, stuff. Is there anything else you want to say? Don't want to use the mobile while driving.
Oh, of course, of course. I shouldn't keep you. But I wanted to thank you for your company yesterday.
Not a problem.
I was hoping you could thank Zachary on my behalf as well. He was really kind and wonderful.
Well, you can tell him that yourself if you want. I can give you his number.
Oh, no, I don't want to be a bother. Intruding on his privacy.
Pretty sure he'd be fine with it. If you two are on a first-name basis and all. So, his number, right, it's...
The call starts to go to static, much to my frustration. A strange clicking noise drowns out most of her words, too. I can barely understand what she's saying. And the line completely dies. I can feel a headache coming along. It's just building up, starting from a light throbbing on one side of my head. The static is gone, and that helps a lot. But there's still that incessant, horrible clicking. Again and again and again. Which doesn't make sense. The mobile's turned off, isn't it? And if it isn't coming from the phone, then where? Looking about, I can't help but let my eyes be drawn to the hatch leading to the wine cellar once more. That's when the clicking stops, and I can hear that crying, that familiar crying from before. What happened the other day when I was told that nobody should have been down there? I tried to forget it because of how it unsettled me so. One can hardly do that when I'm looking at the very thing I'm trying to forget. Somebody is crying down there again. But if I leave it alone, it simply won't stop bothering me for the rest of the day. They might have forgotten to lock it with the party going on.
This again?
So real quick, a tidbit. If you don't open the hatch, Johannes tells you that there are only 2 keys to open this, one in the possession of Luke and the other in Johannes himself.
If somebody is pulling my leg, I will not be happy.
I hope this isn't the QuickTime event because my left arm is pinned at the moment. True enough, all it takes is a bit of a pull to open the hatch. As I look down to the cellar, a sense of uneasiness washes over me. It isn't just the sudden onset of vertigo and nausea, but also the darkness. It's suffocating. And as I look down, it feels as if it's looking back at me. I worry that something will suddenly pull me into the deep. The cries drown beneath the shrieks that start echoing in my head, high and shrill, like nails being dragged across a chalkboard. They're all screaming and shouting at me, and I can just feel her rage. Help me. She wants to drown me, drag me down, and crush me in the very depths of darkness until there is nothing left of me. The deep abyss waits for me, for my death. They're all calling for it. This is a nightmare. There's a rope around my neck, and I can feel the rest of me being torn apart. And they're still screaming. I'm screaming, though it is not my voice that escapes my lips. It claws through, climbing up and forcing its way up my throat like putrid bile. I choke and gag, yet I scream and shriek all at the same time. And I'm me, but not me. So I'm gonna intentionally throw this one. And I need to free my left arm to do this one properly. The screaming stops and dies down. It's a moment of reprieve, and I want to believe that I'm finally safe. But it's quiet. Too quiet. Oh, shit. It pushes me down to my knees before I'm prone and vulnerable on my stomach. It makes me tumble, and I can just feel my whole body seizing, writhing on the floor. Everything and nothing hurts. It feels like I'm on the verge of death. And if I'm not dying, I nearly wish I am.
Hannah? Hannah, what is going on in here? Why are you?
Prince.
Seeing Luke, something snaps back, and I'm able to take a gasp of air on my own volition for the first time in what felt like centuries. I would have rejoiced and cried for his name if the pain still did not rack my body. In safe hands unlocked. Instead, all I can do is stare listlessly as he comes to my side and lifts me up, cradling me in his arms. He tries to get me to my feet, perhaps to take me out of here. but all he's able to do is to get me to sit, making sure I'm not thrashing on the floor. I can still feel my muscles spasm, limbs jerking like a puppet's on a string. Luke holds me tight and keeps me still, so that I do not hurt myself anymore. Whatever it is that happened, it has my mind feeling frayed and battered. Eventually, the pain dies down into a dull ache, and my own tongue stops feeling like cotton. It's only now that I can feel the wetness on my cheeks, tears streaking down my face. A coughing racks my body, now that I don't feel like choking. And it just all feels so horrible. But I don't care. I don't care.
Luke, please.
What happened here? Who did this to you?
I don't know. I am so sorry.
Shh, it's all right. You're safe now, Hana. You're safe now.
So that was actually a much happier ending than I would have liked. Yeah, we're just gonna play it out. I guess these two are gonna have somewhat of a strong relationship. The two being Hannah and Luke. But anyway, this is the ending we're going to continue from, and we'll pick up here next time. I'm the Dark Hero. Thanks for watching, and